a very warm welcome to this launch of the 2023 Justice Needs and Satisfaction Report for Nigeria. Across the world, countries are confronted by the same challenges of closing a justice needs gap that keeps widening despite the best efforts of justice leaders and practitioners striving to provide justice through the formal system. Better outcomes for people will restore confidence in the justice sector and the judiciary. It will also signal that key stakeholders are effectively playing a central role in transforming the daily legal problems people have experienced into the effective solutions that people are asking for and need. It is our hope that with this evidence base, justice practitioners and justice leaders will move from data to action, developing solutions and responses that improve access to people-centered justice.
A people-centered justice program that integrates these elements is transformational. It builds on good practices from the health, education, and climate change fields. It produces both system improvement and more effective delivery through its strict focus on outcomes. And we see that gradually more people and businesses and justice sector organizations, also in Nigeria, are seeing this. They want change, more prevention of justice problems, a doubling of the resolution rates. This, my friends, is the second National Justice Needs Survey that has been done in Nigeria, which puts you in a small group of around 5 other countries in the world. In a number of states, the data is already being used to develop evidence-based best practices, to innovate, and to work on an enabling environment to continue to support this. You are starting to do something cutting edge, something transformational, and something that will improve delivery of justice, both in terms of quality and scale.
It's really important to highlight that all the data that we are going to speak, all the graphs, all the percentages that you will see in this report, it's numbers, but actually behind these numbers, there are people stories. Think about the people that you might know, or also your stories related to the justice in general. 81% of Nigerians experience at least one legal problem. At least 55% of all the problems have been either completely resolved or partially resolved. That's a good news to us. People living in rural areas have reported less legal problems than people living in urban areas. First common types of legal problems in Nigeria is neighbor-related problem. The second one is domestic violence, land-related problem, crime, and housing. But this is a highlight of the categories of legal problems, the most common type of legal problems in Nigeria. What we have seen from this research is that Nigerians perceive their legal problems very serious. How did we did this? We asked them to scale their legal problems from 1 to 10, 10 being the most serious. And the average from what you see on the graph is 7.49. That's a higher number. That means that they perceive their legal problems as very serious as possible. To me, that's what I can call a people-centered justice. Then this shows you that there is a way of solving a problem, probably not going to the court. Yes. Then we go out and ask, when you have a legal problem, who do you go? We call this at HiiL source of help. Who did you go to solve your problem? And I have another good news here is that at least 9 out of 10 Nigerians try to solve their problem by taking action. And then we ask them, where did you go? Surprisingly or unsurprisingly, you see that family members, friends, negotiating directly with the other party, the neighbors are the most common source of help used. And only 5% go to a lawyer, and 1% go to the formal court, and the rest use their inner cycle. With these legal problems that we have, people engage different sources of help. For instance, look at the family members. You will see that when family member has a domestic violence, when there's a problem of domestic violence, you'll see that people more often go to the family members trying to solve their problem. While when you look, for instance, at the police, you see that when someone got a crime-related problem, they go mostly to the police. I've shown you the legal problems that we are having, and also we saw how people try to solve this problem. Who do they go? How impactful these problems are. And then we have found that it's really, really important to continue collecting people-centered justice data in Nigeria, even beyond 2025. And I will use also this quote, I believe, and I know it's from also Nigerian proverb, saying justice is the foundation of the kingdom. And when I see this picture, I see a very good picture of how people-centered justice looks like.
How we can move from data to action. I think my job is very simple in the sense that I'm required to show or demonstrate or suggest what is access to justice. For those who do not know, or those who already know, at least let's confirm that this is a universal concept, which according to United Nations is a basic principle of the rule of law. In the absence of access to justice, people are unable to have their voices heard, exercise their rights, challenge discrimination, or hold decision makers accountable. HiiL, which is the organization that is piloting what we are doing today, has brought in a functional dimension to the concept by saying that justice is not just about the number of reported crimes, nor is it about courts and laws. It's about common people, their daily lives, their pain and frustration, and the justice outcomes that they get or do not get.
You know, we are talking about people-centered justice, and we have a constitution. Thankfully, Prof made reference to the constitution. And what is justice? Justice is really about what we have agreed as a people within the context of the law that we have subscribed to, that a people can exist without religion, but they cannot exist without justice. And that is why when IJ said that she was glad we came, I said, well, I cannot see any call or any mention of justice anywhere and not gravitate towards that place. Would this country turn if all of us will relate with our clients in such a manner, such that beyond just taking the fees, we relate with them to the point where they will feel so comfortable that whatever we do is actually geared towards getting justice. So I see the statistics about 81% who have legal problems, but the question is how many people even know what legal problems are? How many Nigerians know what legal problems are? And we talked about 184 million legal problems. Who did the characterization that these are legal problems?
What are the characteristics of legal problems and the indicators that we have defined to define a legal problem in general? I'm sure the report has a lot of details on how we approach that concept that is well known, but some of the points I might mention here, that the problem must be justiciable. That means individual people must be able to take legal action to resolve that problem. But also one of the challenges we normally face when we are trying to reach out to the people, because as Femi said, we not only look at the elite, but also we go far to the people who even not have the formal education to read. They might not be able to recognize that they are having a legal problem. So what we do, we try to simplify these legal and justice terms and make sure that they really understand. That's where we come with some of the words like having dispute, disagreement, or needs for intervention from a legal institution or any other source of help, as I said in the report. The other things that we normally look at are personal experience that people encountered, and also, as I said in the presentation, we only surveyed people over 18 years old. So that's what probably I can say. And these legal problems do not refer to the problems like health problem, political problem, food security, that are a bit probably collective. And we, to avoid having the double checking, for instance, or asking same question to different people, we ask personal experience. Even if you are in a household with 3 people, we just ask your personal, as a person, experience.
And that is why this subject is very, very much of interest to us as a Nigerian Bar Association. And with the privilege that I have to lead the Nigerian Bar Association at this time, I want to give you our unflinching commitment to support whatever HiiL is doing, as we also invite you to join the Nigerian Bar Association to support our responsibility in promoting the rule of law. I thank you so very much.
HiiL primarily is here to create a safe platform for Nigerians to take ownership of what is good for Nigerians. So that means there's data here, but it's up to the legal practitioners, it's up to the institutions that are here, well represented, to intentionally decide to be committed to use the data to make decisions, design policies, and more importantly, act on those policies in ways that are beneficial to the Nigerian person. And so we are very mindful of the fact that data alone is not enough. And that's why there's been constantly, people have come here and they keep talking about from data to action. It is in the action that in fact we can create impact. So for the question still falls back to the stakeholders. It is the stakeholders that would ensure that what the data has to offer is taken full advantage of. Thank you very much.